I've come across the term Google Certified Teacher on more than one occasion, and have been interested in learning about how exactly someone earns this qualification. I'll begin by stating that this project was more complicated than I originally expected. I went in believing that by the end of our class I would have gotten or be at the point of getting certified. Time and other variables, which will become clear, make it near impossible, at least for me, to complete this without additional weeks, if not months more of training and time in my own classroom. If you look at an explanation of what a Google Certified Teacher means and what is expected of them, one sees that it falls in line with the idea of being a lifelong learner, the philosophy of being a servant leader, and complements our master's degree in digital teaching and learning. So I'm going to explain the step one needs to take, the time involved for this project, as well as the costs. The first step is filling out an application. That's because training for this program is limited to 50 students from around the world at each of their global locations. What does an application look like? What kind of questions are on it? Where can one get one to fill out? These are some of the questions I went in search of, and here's the answer. I don't know. That's because they haven't made one available for this year. I do know that they will release the dates and locations in late April on the Google for Education site. And they state that the answers are short, but I have no specifics other than that. I also know that there is a 1-minute video required. There are some good ones available on YouTube to watch. Reading about teachers who have been through this process, I can tell you that they believe going over the time limit is grounds for disqualification. Their suggestion is not to worry about who can use the tools the quickest or answer the quizzes with the most correct answers, but instead to focus on how the tools are being used in the classroom. What Google is looking for is innovative educators. One last thing to mention is that the Google site and veteran teachers both suggest is to become a Google educator before applying to the Academy. I'll go into more details about this step in just a moment. The Google for Education site has two types of relevant training available online. One is basic training. There are 14 different types of tools available to choose from. These include Gmail, Google Docs, Google Slides, and Calendar. When you select one of these tools or apps, you'll see that the training is broken up into lessons, and that each lesson has a corresponding time that each one will approximately take to complete. On many of these lessons, you'll also find an M lesson, which stands for mobile device. At the end of each basic lesson, you might be prompted to take a self-check quiz. There are only 5 questions, but they give you an idea of how you're doing. Additionally, you may be suggested to take the basics exam. Let me explain that while the self-checks are specifically focused on the lessons you just learned, there's only one basics exam and it covers all of the tools, not just one. You'll need to have a Gmail account to take the exam, but it doesn't cost anything to take. Additionally, you can take the test more than once, but the questions will be different. I took it twice. The first time I got a 90%, the second time I got a 93. If you pass, they'll mail you a certificate. Your score is not on it. The next type of training is advanced. This is the training that will assist you in passing the exams required to receive your Google Educator certificate. Gmail, Calendar, Google Sites, Docs, and Drives are all required. You can see the courses on the right, both basic and advanced, that you will need to help you pass this test. As you can see, just like in basic training, you'll have a varied number of lessons and a self-check exam. You'll choose the 5th exam from Chrome browser, Chromebooks, Google Play for Education, or Android tablets for education. And again, you can see the suggested courses on the right that will assist you with that test. Let me go over the 2 types of tests. The basic test has 30 questions. It's free and has no apparent time limits. The advanced test has 60 questions each and costs $15 a test. You have 90 minutes to complete each test, and regardless if you buy the test individually or as a bundle, you'll have to complete all of the exams within 90 days. Additionally, while it is not explained anywhere that I could see on the site, veteran teachers indicate that the certification for being a Google educator is only valid for 18 months. And while I feel it should be valid for at least 3 years, all the tools that are being tested on might be obsolete or completely changed by then. So as you can see, the time commitment for this project is going to take months. I've already completed most of the basic training and have passed that exam. I've already started taking the advanced courses, and I think that I'll be ready to take the exams soon. I'm taking my time because I want to make sure I thoroughly understand the material. Once again, teachers who have completed the project indicate that it is sometimes a challenge. While becoming a Google Educator is not a mandatory component to applying to the Academy, all indications point that it is necessary to being selected. I appreciate the opportunity not only to have begun this process, but also to see how the 20% project can effectively motivate student learning.